It's time for another edition of We Welcome Your Teams, a podcast about the most unique job in sport, football stadium announcers.
When we tried that system for the first time, I got a text saying, I'm putting my washing out, I can hear you from my house.
There was the odd occasion where, I'm jumping around like a football fan. I forgot that I was going to be there. Yeah. And somebody would say, you haven't announced the goal yet. Oh, well, I better do that. So, Good afternoon!
Stop! Ross Stewart is, I think, a nice name to an.
Oh, honestly, when I met Ross Stewart, I thanked him for elevating my personal brand.
So as it died down, the analyst said to me, actually, it was an own goal. And I went, bleep that, give me the mic. Goal scorer, for Leighton Orient.
You are damaging the pitch. We have a game against Brighton on Sunday.
He said 10,000 of them all love you. 10,000 of them will hate you. And 10,000 of them won't give a shit about you. And I went, I like those odds.
And welcome again once and all to another edition of We Welcome Your Teams. This is Rich here from West Bromwich Albion alongside my regular co-host, the voice of Old Trafford, Mr. Alan Keegan. How are you, Alan?
Absolutely wonderful, Rich. As we record this, United haven't lost a game in so many... I'm losing count now. Not quite enough for the guy to have his hair cut, but, we're doing okay. We're getting there, mate. It's all good. And as we speak, we're supposed to have a bit of a rough season. I went on the same points as Liverpool, so what more can I say?
He's a happy man. I was going to say, you have been, since we talked about your new signings and who was the best player to announce, you've had a couple more excuses to get Mbeumo. Get your Mbeumo.
Yeah, he's the main man at the moment. He's selling everything, shirts, scarves, anything in tribute to Brian Mbeumo. But what a signing! Listen, it's all top four. Here we come.
I can hear things so much chipper in your voice. I was going to ask you how it was. Well, obviously, we're now recording after most of everyone's remembrance games, which is kind of like the Announcers' Cup final every year, the one you're desperate to get right and you lose the most sleep over. We had some horror stories going around the Announcers WhatsApp group. You had John at Middlesbrough saying there's always a phone going off somewhere, or once somebody was walking up into the Stadium Bowl as they came in saying, why is it so blooming quiet, when everybody was observing the silence. Rich at Brighton said that only last weekend at their game, their referee didn't want to blow his whistle for the start or the end of the silence because he was scared of doing it in the wrong place. So chaos ensued, apparently. It's all of these things we lose sleep over. How was yours?
Yeah, well, to be fair, I did it at the women's game because we played on Sunday, and it went very well. To be fair, I've done 25, and so the women's game was great. It all went like clockwork. Respect was paid. The trumpeter, we never mic up the trumpeter. We always just carry the echo of the stadium, so it's very good. It went well.
There's a conversation. We did mic up. Well, we didn't mic up our bugler. We stuck one halfway in between the sideline and the centre circle. Stood him there. The only thing that gave me slight shudders on the day, and completely unfounded, but just one of those things thrown on you at the last minute at the time, is that our poem for the fallen was going to be read by some under-12 academy lads who turned up about an hour before kickoff with no script in front of them and not really knowing what they were doing, which could just kind of slightly set the, how's this going to go? Because they were standing in front of the mic, and then our bugler would step in and do his thing. But fair play to the lads. I mean, they're footballers. That's what they do. Once they're on the pitch, they deliver.
Yeah. Well, that's all you can ask for, isn't it?
That's all you can ask for. Right. You'll have heard someone chuckling away to Alan enjoying his time at Man United earlier on, and that's our guest for this episode. So, guest, if you would like to introduce yourself, I have your music here that your team walk out to. So tell us who you are and which club you're announcer for, please.
I'm Tony Parr, and I'm the stadium announcer at Bloomfield Road, the home of the only team in football in tangerine and white. That's the mighty Seasiders. Blackpool.
And a right old tune to walk out to as well, Seven Nation Army, Tony. Tony, welcome to the podcast. How are you? How long have you been at Blackpool then?
20th season, this.
20 years
20
under his belt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Highs and lows as well.
I was going to say that encompasses quite a few different elements of Blackpool's history, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We had within my time, I've had the best, of our modern era. We had the Premiership year, and then we've had the dark days as well of the fan protest, the fan boycott. So yeah, it's been. You know what, that Blackpool phrase, it's been a great roller coaster.
Yeah.
Very well said. Has it always been Seven Nation Army that you walked out to? Because someone somewhere told me once about something by the Nolan sisters.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah. We don't listen. That's what they walk out to at the moment. But if I'm being honest, we don't really have a walkout music. It's a little bit of a bugbear of mine, and you've just mentioned the Nolans, Rich, and I've tried twice to bring that back. It's cheese of the highest order.
Do you know
from
what?
1970s.
But that works in some cases. Look at Barry at Leyton Orient, and they're
I'll tell you what I always say about it. And as I say, I've tried to bring it back twice, and it's been when I first started, I reintroduced it, and it lasted for about 2 seasons, and then we had a spell about 2 years ago or 18 months ago where we brought it back for a period. And what I always say about it is, if you listen to the one I always think stands out to me is Coventry and their Sky Blue thing. And it's so late 1960s, 1970s. And if you boil it down, it's as cheesy as anything. But the thing is, it's their song. It was written for them, and they stuck with it. So now you have 2 generations of supporters who know nothing other than that song. So they don't even question whether it's cheesy or not. It's just, it is their song. And why would you dream of changing something from your club's heritage?
I can't bang on about it any longer without playing a little bit for some of those people who've never heard it, because it's got that cheese element about it. But like you say, I love it.
Yeah.
Whenever you're down in Blackpool, there is somewhere you must go to see the tangerine and whites and watch the football flow. You'll hear us cheer the lads along, so come and join the crowd. And every time they score a goal, you'll hear us shout aloud. Blackpool, Blackpool, see the way they play. Blackpool, Blackpool, we'll win you all the way. We'll follow you forever, no matter where you go. So come along and join the gang at Blackpool.
You can hear that working in the walkout. You can hear the crowd picking up the chant as you get close to the kickoff. It's got everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is our song. It was written for Blackpool Football Club. And as I say, if they'd have stuck with it forever, now you wouldn't question it.
Well, do you not squeeze it in at the end if you've won? It hits all the buttons at the beginning of the game.
It's something, it causes so much on social media. It causes meltdowns with some people. Some people, it ruins the weekend. What's he doing playing that again?
Yeah.
And, does it matter? We've just won 4-1. Who cares what the score, what the tune
music
was?
is?
Or we're just getting relegated. Does it matter what the tune is? But no, some people, it's their big thing. It's their big thing in life. Yeah. Can't play the Nolans. No, it's rubbish. Yeah.
Do you still have a lot of input, Tony, on the music for a match day? Is that under your sort of remit?
To be honest, now I have none at all. To be honest, because our owner has got quite a he's got a musical taste from the sort of late 80s, early 90s, and Simon likes to hear particular tunes pre-match. So he has quite an input into the sort of the match day music.
Owner influence.
Yeah,
we had
absolutely.
One of our last games. Some of the owners' family were over from America, so we played something very new and very something that the kids like at the minute, which is a phrase I never thought I'd hear myself saying, but It was, and I was there trying to get our like 80s stuff in, and let's get some 90s rave on, and let's get some, let's get a bit of AC/DC on the go, and oh goodness knows what they wanted. But there's a little bit of influence everywhere now and then. Yeah. Don't mind it coming in. Don't mind it coming in. Yeah. So can you take us back then 20 odd years to how you first ended up with the mic in your hand at Bloomfield Road?
Yeah, it was kind of by accident, really. I'd worked at Blackpool Football Club prior to. I worked there 30 years ago, and then I'd moved away from Blackpool. I'd gone on, worked at a couple of other sporting organisations, at St Helens Rugby and then at Burnley Football, and I hadn't been working in sport for a couple of years, and I was just getting back to enjoying watching the matches at Bloomfield Road. Sat in the stands with me, started taking my daughter. Then she was about 10 or 11, and the chap who was doing it, the chap who'd been doing it forever, he did it for 28 years, and he a good friend of mine, and he said he was packing up, and I said, oh, who's doing this then next year, And he said, well, I don't know, why do you fancy doing it? And I said, no, not really, to be honest, Chris. I'm just getting used to coming back as a fan and being able to sit in the stands and have nothing to worry about, And that was on a Saturday game. And I went home and I thought about it. And we had a game on a Tuesday as well. And I thought, you know what? Yeah, why not? And so when I saw him on the Tuesday, I said, listen, if they haven't got anybody sorted, I'll do it. I don't mind. And that was it. So that was about the March of towards the end of the season, and he just said, well, come along and you can just get a feel of it for the last few home games, and that was it really. I just eased into it for the start of the next season.
Love that.
So, yeah, all by accident.
Yeah. So what was your kind of opinion of the role as to sort of what it represented, what it was like, what it meant, etc.?
I don't know. I've never really thought. Good question, that, Rich. I've never really thought about that because I think when I started 20 years ago, social media wasn't really as it is now, and social media sort of provides people with opinions, and you either fall in behind or you rail against that opinion. A lot of people don't form their own opinions anymore. But it was just something that I never really thought about it. I just knew the guy who did it at Bloomfield was a friend of mine, and I used to have a laugh with him when I worked there. I never thought about it. As I say, it really was by accident.
Yeah.
But here I am, 20 years later with the same accident on my hands.
Yeah.
Chris's footsteps are pretty hard to follow into, I think. That's Chris Hull, isn't it? Who'd been there for
Chris Hull,
30 odd years, I think he'd done or something, hadn't he?
It was 28 years he did.
28, wow.
28 years, and he missed 3 games.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's your absence record? Should we ask?
Well, if we assume it as a whole, let's assume it as a whole. I missed about 5 games. Twice I've been ill, and to the point where I couldn't do it, and 3 times in the dark days. I also one of the other sort of strings on my bow is that I do some, not so much anymore, but I used to do MCing at boxing shows, and it was reasonably lucrative and enjoyable. And there was times when I was asked to be out of town on a Saturday. I tried to avoid it on a match day, but when it was in the real dark period, it it didn't really. The pull to be there, and if there was somewhere where I could be and earning a reasonable amount of money, then I'd. So yeah, I think I've missed 5 games if we take the period as a whole. Yeah.
What was your? Do you remember your first proper official game?
No, I can't really remember it because, as I say, I kind of eased my way in.
Yeah, I suppose which one counts as the actual official one you're looking?
From the March of that particular season when Chris said he was finishing, I just kept, and I'd do a couple of the goal announcements or do the team read the team out, and so by the time the first game of the following season started, it didn't really feel like my first game, if that makes sense. Yeah,
it's 20 years is a long time. I suppose I'm trying to think of the people we've spoken to in the past hour. It's a real mix, obviously, between people who've been there, like, you know, I kind of count you as an item of furniture at Man United now, 26 as we are pretty much at now.
Wow, 26 years, yeah, Alan.
So that's 26. Yeah, I'm only into 11, so I'm not even pushing that yet. So did when you first started, did you really think 20 years on and continuing you'd still be there?
No, never thought about how far this would go. I don't know, I'll do it and whatever. You know, if I do it for a couple of years, I'll have enjoyed it and I'll have a good time. I mean, my first season, this was one of the things I used to laugh at with Chris. Chris is no longer with us. He died a few years ago. But fantastic fella. But I used to joke with him because the end of my first full season when I was doing it properly, Blackpool ended up at Wembley for the playoffs. the new Wembley had just opened that year, and I used to joke with Chris. He did 28 years of absolute rubbish. We were in the 3rd and 4th division. You know, he'd be talking to a crowd of, well, he did the lowest ever crowd, 1,600. And we had a couple of years where we were in the sort of 3,000 bracket every week. And I come along, end of my first season, and I'm stood on the pitch at Wembley for the playoff final. And I used to laugh with Chris about it. And then of course we had 3 years later I was back there again, and I've been there 5 times now, which 5 playoff finals, and it's like I pinch myself that, and as I say, God rest his soul, but Chris did 28 years of absolute rubbish, But there you go.
And what's your record? What's your record with the 5?
1-4, lost 1.
Wow.
1-4,
you do know the story about Rich, don't you? Are you familiar with this?
No. Go on, enlighten me.
Rich, enlighten him.
It's not going to take long to enlighten you, mate. So it's not a bugbear because it's out of my control, but it seems to be that on this podcast, although there are, I suppose 91 other announcers we could get hold of the 50 or so we've spoken to so far, every blooming single one has been to Wembley except.
You've not got it. Yeah.
I mean, it is a reason. It is a huge reason as to why every time I go to that game and every time I work there, I want to make sure I'm here next season because I am now petrified of that exact thing happening.
Yes.
Someone gets the gig after me, and in their first year. I can't tell you. Even thinking about it now has got me a little bit wrong. Yeah. But it could so easily happen because it's that thing out of our control, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Alan, do you get a slot for cup final?
Yeah, you get a slot because both announcers, like from the finals, both get a sort of. It's between 6 and 10 minutes.
Yes.
It's all very timed.
And
you're introducing your team, the video, blah blah blah. But so and that's wherever the Europa League Cup final, Champions League Cup final.
Right.
So,
okay,
been to Russia, been all over with it. Yeah, it's been brilliant. Brilliant.
Because obviously, all mine are playoff matches. I'm not.
Yeah, well, you've not got a bad record.
I don't envisage us getting to any cup finals any time. Soon. And I did wonder that. Do you get the slot for the cup finals, or is it just the minor Wembley appearances being playoffs?
Great memories and great people to work with.
Yeah,
you've had some managers over the years, haven't you, Tony? Who sort of stands out in that record of 20 years? Who are the characters?
My 2 favourite managers, the 2 nicest guys that forget the football and what they brought to the. I mean, they were both playoff winners, so that's a bonus. But Gary Bowyer and Neil Critchley, 2 absolutely fantastic guys, really, really great guys. And there's been some that maybe you wouldn't want to go and have dinner with. Just not pleasant, not pleasant characters. And I don't get that really because, I'm sure on the training pitch there's a reason why they are the way they are. But, I always say about when you're around the club on a match day, fine. For the 90 minutes, you're the boss, you're the gaffer, and it's, you're 11 players on the pitch. But everybody else around the club on a match day, they're all part of, you all use the same toilets in the club. So, different or better than any of us. But just some don't really have that warmth to sort of embrace the people who are around them, around the club and make the club work on a match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what's your average attendance then? How does that work?
It's something I always feel strongly about this, of the Lancashire clubs. So traditional Lancashire clubs, Burnley, Preston, Blackburn, Blackpool. And then you could maybe argue Bolton as well as a traditional historical Lancashire club. We do have the worst level of support. I'm not saying the worst support.
No, just the numbers.
The numbers wise. And so this, I think this season it's a bad start this season, but I think we have about 8,500 season tickets. And then if we're doing, if we're okay, if we're just holding our own, then the home attendance will be floating around between 10 and 11,000. And if we get ourselves up the table, we can be pulling in 13, 14 home fans. But one thing we do benefit by at Blackpool is we always have a good away following, because everybody always looks. If you're a football fan, I mean, you'll know it, Rich. You're the first. It's only once we've played United in sort of living memory. But if you're in the same division as Blackpool, the first fixture you look for your home, your derby, whoever that is, and then you want to see when you're at Blackpool, because it's a weekend at Blackpool, and that's why we get great followings from the support, from the away support.
Yeah. One of my fondest memories. Have we got time, Rich? Are we okay? Yeah. All right. One of my fondest memories is when you were in the Premier League and you played us, and it was a midweek game, and the pitch was horrendous. The weather had been terrible, and it was like a sandpit. I'm not just having a go at it. Anyway, I'm sat up in the corner, and I've got these seafaring guys sat behind me, all in uniform and everything, but all like connected with the Navy as such. Anyway, the game starts, and you might remember it, but I think you went 2-0 up.
We did.
Right.
Don't worry, I haven't forgotten.
Yeah, you went 2-0 up, and obviously we're all chatting, and the atmosphere. Anyway, these like Navy guys are absolutely giving me loads of stick, like 1-0, 2-0, like you've just like absolutely slaughtered us in the first half. And they were like singing, having a great time, all in the uniform, giving me a load of stick. I was there with a mate of mine. The banter had started before the kickoff. Anyway, 2-0, and we were playing rubbish, and the guys are giving me a load of stick, and I give it tongue in cheek. Don't worry, the comebacks coming on back in the second half. Never thinking for a month of Sundays it would. Anyway, bang, we hit one in, 2-1. We hit another one, 2-2, and we won 3-2. Yeah. Oh, was it? Yeah, it was 3-2.
It was 3-2. It was 3-2.
Yeah. Oh, it was brilliant.
The one detail you've missed out there, though, Alan, is that we're 2-0 up, and good for the 2-0. It wasn't two flukes. We were good for the 2-0.
No, you were.
And then stonewall penalty.
Knew that was coming. Absolutely knew that was coming.
Stonewall penalty.
It's Man United
to go 3 up.
Chance.
Honestly, if you can ever be bothered, in one of those, when you go down your YouTube wormholes, just look at it. And honestly, I mean, VAR today it would never get to VAR. An half decent referee would have given it. A referee watching the game would have given it. We always. But then you're right, the second half, because what we always say is he brought at half time when Fergie made his subs. One of the subs, the two of them I can remember were Berbatov and Giggs. And I always think to myself, that song, the Ryan Giggs song, Giggs Will Tear You Apart. If there was ever an example of how true that was, it was that day at Bloomfield Road. But Stonewall penalty. 3-0 up at half time. Game over.
That was coming. That's hilarious.
No way.
Because the other
great memory.
The other thing for United was that we played you the last game of the season, We were away at Old Trafford last game of the season. And I remember always thinking as the season was going on, we've got a real disadvantage because effectively we're playing a 37-game season. Because who's going to Old Trafford on the last day and getting anything? We were 2-1 up, weren't we?
Yeah.
We went 2-1 up. But we went 2-1 up too early.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember the final score?
Yeah, 4-2.
Yeah.
4-2. Yeah, 4-2. I'll tell you. Well, I'll tell you. Sorry, we're getting away from the PA role here.
Yeah.
But a couple of weeks before, I can't remember exactly, 4 or 5 games out from the end of the season, we played Bolton at home, and the score 4-3 to Blackpool. We played Newcastle, and we got beat 2-0 by Newcastle. We went to Old Trafford, and we got beat 4-2. Blackpool played in the 48 Cup final against United, lost 4-2. We played in the 51 Cup final against Newcastle, lost 2-0. In the 53 final, we beat Bolton 4-3.
Wow! Yeah. Well, that's a great start.
I'll take me anorak off now.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
I'll tell you what. I'll bring it back round to the PA thing, and I'll ask you, Alan, when you went to Bloomfield Road that time, how good was the sound system?
Well, to be honest, I can give you an answer from 2 perspectives here, because that particular night, the PA system was excellent. But I have to say, when I filled in for the great man that was speaking for, it was absolutely fantastic. So I've had a double experience, a double helping of Blackpool Football Club, and a very warm welcome from the club. You know,
the place is moonlighted.
Yeah.
I know.
I've been.
I'm in freelance.
Yeah,
list, look.
I've been. I know. I've been around, mate. I've been around, but no. Yeah, so I filled in for.
I've done the 3 clubs on the Foul Coast. Not a Football League club, obviously, but AFC Fylde. I stood in once at AFC Fylde. I stood in once up at Fleetwood, and obviously Bloomfield. Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah,
all covered up.
Yeah. Well,
so
honest.
Obviously, it all went well for when they rolled the red carpet out for when Mr. Keegan turned up. Obviously, but Tony, just from scanning a few of the old message boards, it seems a little bit apparent that the sound system could be better.
Yeah, it could be. It's not the best. It's very old. It was kind of patched together when the stadium was built. The stadium was built by the previous regime, and wherever they could save any money, they would do. And the sound system that I taught, the audio system is actually the fire alarm system. That the audio the audio is patched into, it's not a stadium sound system, and I always say to people, just when you're moaning about it, just have a look up at the speakers, and you can buy them for £10 in Woolworths.
Yeah, can I just say to Rich, I could hear him loud and proud and clear when those 2 goals went in for us. There was nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong with the sound system that night, mate. I can assure you. It was beautiful. It was crystal clear. Oh, he was chirping like a robin that night.
I always say that I get excited and I get down, and people can tell my mood by if we've got beat at home and I'm announcing the 3rd goal for the opposition. I'm just a fan with a live microphone, and it comes out in how I speak, and I'm jumping off the ceiling when we win and score the 4th goal, But I'm just a fan with a live microphone.
Yeah. We all do it. We tend, even if the away team score their first goal, it's normally a bit of a mumble, if we're honest, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if the away team score their 4th goal, barely audible, to be honest.
Yeah.
But that's just the code of practice we try and stick to.
I think so, absolutely.
And I think we're entitled in that respect.
Yeah.
Does that kind of hold back your ability to sort of create a match day atmosphere? Then it must do. I mean, that's
it does.
That's a tough gig to work through.
It does now. The sound in the stadium is poor now, and it has got worse over time. You know, like we were talking about the walkout music and things like that. We can't. There's very little point just trying to play some music that's going to generate and help generate the atmosphere and get the crowd going, because some parts of the ground you can hear it, some parts you just hear nothing. Some of my friends say the only place they can ever hear me properly is when they're in the toilets on the concrete.
Yeah.
But it's difficult for us to use the system to help generate the atmosphere.
It's funny you mention that, only because I saw they produced a list online in a club update recently about improvement work going on at the ground.
Yeah.
And I imagine when you saw this, Tony, at the first time, you must have been getting a little bit excited, thinking, "Oh, here we go! It's finally coming!"
Yeah.
And there's a big list here, including structural improvements to the existing East Stand, replacement of all boards within the East Stand, new media facilities and the camera platform. Okay, they're getting sorted. You've got to be next now, haven't you? No, installation of rails to create rail seating and safe standing. Well, safe standing's coming back. That's fair enough. Repainting. The Equities Energies Training Centre, including a new kitchen. They're getting a new sink at the training ground, but I can't see anything there about a tannoy.
No.
It was originally planned for this summer, and it was going to be on the list, but unfortunately, I think maybe a little bit of overspending areas, and I was the bit that got shot.
It's that kitchen sink. That's what they've done. They've got one of those fancy Belfast ones in when they could have just got a metal one in.
Yeah.
Yeah. One day, it'll happen one day.
Do you know what? I stand corrected. You read a bit further down. Subject to planning and other things coming in include LED floodlighting, improvements to the East Stand, and a new tannoy system to be installed as phase 2.
It is. It's phase 2.
It's good.
It's referred to as phase 2.
That's phase 2. I'm just going to cancel the crowdfunder we were about to set up for your new sound system, because it pains us to think that you can't do your standard announcer stuff. So it must affect things like your pre-kickoff team read and stuff like that.
Yeah, it does. It does. I read the team out and I get no reaction at all from our fans. Your traditional number 1, hey, number 2, hey. I get nothing. Literally a pin drop.
Oh dear. Can we not even buy, can we not play you in like a CD with those effects on and just jump the loop? Do you remember at Luton? I remember at Luton Town. This was one of the best things at Luton Town when COVID came. I don't know that anybody else did this. When COVID happened, obviously some announcers still worked and they, did their thing.
I was there. Yeah.
So some of them, you watched it on telly and the telly played in some crowd effects, and sometimes you could get those crowd effects streamed into the ground so the players could hear it. At Luton, they recorded all of their club's chants, and played them at different times during the game. Like a little effects board every now and then. And the best one they had, they had one that said, "Is this a library?" Which I thought was brilliant. We got it. Maybe now, if they don't need it anymore, we'll borrow that and plug it in up your way.
Pipe it into Bloomfield Road.
Yeah.
Well, Tony, you've automatically booked yourself a guest slot on next season's show, just for the day that
assuming phase 2 is in place for next season.
Okay, maybe we'll see what happens with phase 2. If you could just steady yourself in the league this season.
Yeah.
I know league position's important and retaining players and everything else is important, but most importantly of all, get that message through to the players and management staff. Keep us up in the league, and that new tannoy's coming.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, it's back to the chat with our guests shortly, but first let's take a bit of time to tell you about why we love working with Shoot Music. They are the #1 music provider to the sport DJ community, and there's no point being a great announcer if there isn't great music to back you up on your match day. So, Shoot Music have a match day DJ service. You sign up for free and get new music sent straight to you, because they know that stadium atmospheres need creating and curating. You'll get access to handy instrumental versions, crowd-pleasing remixes, and specialised DJ mixes straight to your inbox, ready for your next match day. So to sign up, email them info@shootmusic.co.uk. Feel free to let them know you heard about them here on the We Welcome Your Teams podcast. This month, the team have sent round some amazing tracks. Here are 3 of our favourites.
I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you like I know.
First up, we're proud to bring you this first ever single from British-Swedish singer-songwriter Felix Green. Now, we love the radio edit of this, but also very handy instrumental that Shoot Music sent us to. This is called Dirty Cigarette.
Being in New York and a being Milan. Fun people, fun people.
Next up is this, the double A-side single from Ash, which is from their album Ad Astra, which was out last month. The tune on this is Which One Do You Want, but we prefer this one, Fun People, with Graham Coxon from Blur.
Hallucinations in a so-called dream.
Finally, you might remember back in August we brought you these guys, The Horn, mainly because they did a tune called Watch the Score, and they've got another one out now, which is this, Something You Forgot.
Slipstream, screaming with delight. I think we got this till the evening light. A velvet rope to hold you back.
And there you have it, all tunes that were sent straight to our inbox just because we're signed up to Shoot Music's Matchday DJ service. Perfect for announcers looking for new tunes to add to their Matchday playlist or recommendations to pass on to that person in charge of Matchday music. Shoot will also support the great job announcers are doing with social media plugs and interviews with them as well. Plus, they're always looking for that next artist/club collaboration that could involve your team. And remember to see which tunes are doing the business at sports stadia around the world. Check out the Stadium Chart. There's a new one published every month. Okay, that's plenty for now about the great job Shoot Music do. Let's get you back to our guests with this episode of We Welcome Your Teams. So I mean, those great times that we, I suppose, most of us know Blackpool for, those Premier League years. Did those bring you some of your best moments on the mic?
Oh yeah, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt. Do you know what? It's funny. I sometimes get asked this from different people and what have you. And one of my best memories of that period, particularly, was not actually in the stadium. It was when we got promoted to the Premier League, when we beat Cardiff at Wembley. The local council arranged the homecoming parade on the promenade, and it was glorious weather. It was absolutely stunning sunshine, and I think the police said the estimate was about 40,000 on the promenade, and I hosted the homecoming. So I was on the stage, with the crowd and the players and everybody. And actually being the proud, Blackpudlian and I love the promenade, and that says what Blackpool is. And to be stood there with 40,000 tangerine, flags and everything, that was one of my, best days as the stadium announcer, albeit not in the stadium,
Wow. Brilliant.
Do you,
brilliant.
I've just suddenly had, those days, I mean, they're, depending on who it is, I suppose, are they well orchestrated or is it a bit of chaos?
There was a bit of chaos. There was a bit of chaos that day. And the chaos was because, and I'm sure, Alan, I'm guessing you've seen it. I think that the best example I can give of it is away from football slightly. If you think of England winning the Ashes in 2005 and seeing Freddie Flintoff staggering out of, I think he was staggering out of number 10, was it? Or off the back of the bus going into number 10, something like that. Well, when the bus came down the promenade and arrived at where they were going to, disembark to come on the stage, and as they start coming onto the stage, I'm looking at the players and I'm thinking, oh, God, who the hell can I give this mic to? Because, of course, you can see that, the 2 days before they've just played, or the day before, whenever it was, I can't remember exactly. They've just had the greatest day of their careers to date, and here they are. They've been at you can imagine a boozy do somewhere, and we're putting them up in front of the public, and I'm thinking, oh, God, who can you risk to speak on the mic? But it all went well. There was nobody who really let it down in any way.
Do you know, Well, it just makes me think about obviously a lot of the homecomings that, you know, United would have done after various victories. But have we ever talked about whether you've hosted any of those, like kind of town hall, you know, open square?
No,
I don't think we have.
No, I don't think we have. Yeah, I've done a few. Obviously, the best one. I mean, well, just to rewind it very quickly. So, if in United's case, if they were playing away, so I'm thinking off the top of my head, Everton and Wigan. If we won those games in those seasons, that's when we won the league. So what they did, the Premier League invite me to go to the ground in anticipation of lifting the trophy. So I did it at Wigan, did it at Everton. That was brilliant. But the best homecoming for me was the last one we won, 2013, because, you know, Manchester, it was just unbelievable. And it was in the city centre. It was at the town hall. The players came on the stage. You know, it was just an unbelievable atmosphere. You know, Scholesy, Carrick, Rio, Rooney, they were all on the stage, and it was just a fantastic party. And the Cortinas, which they had the song, or the hit song, Not 19 Forever, which was a big hit at Old Trafford because of a couple of the lads are United fans, Liam Frey and people like that. So they were like, they before the bus arrived, it was a double-decker thing. They were on stage, not 19 Forever, because we'd won the 20th Premier League title. So it was just a glorious day. Yeah, it was brilliant. So, yeah, I've had a few good ones, Rich. I've had a good few memories.
Have you ever had that incident where, you know, they get off the bus to come up the stage and you're not quite sure who's had the least to drink? Well, I suppose we have to go back a few years for anything like that, really, don't we? I don't know.
Yeah, well, we do. Yeah, thanks, Flick, for rubbing that in. But no, I think on the one I'm
in general, just
that one I'm talking about, because what had happened, the players actually met at Old Trafford, and they came. So the front of Old Trafford, if you can remember it, you've got like Sir Matt Busby's statue at the front of it, and then you've got what we call the Holy Trinity, sort of a bit away. So the bus was coming right in front of Old Trafford. It was parked up, and then I had to introduce every player onto the bus. And like I say, it was a double-decker, so they were all coming upstairs, and they came out, you know, in twos. So, you know, Nemanja Vidic and Wayne Rooney, blah, blah, blah. And there must have been 30 or 40,000 at Old Trafford, and then it went right down into town, Chester Road, if you know Manchester. And then I had to get a VIP sort of car that took me down to the town hall, so I had to be there when the bus arrived. So just a brilliant experience. You know, the memories of that are unreal, and they were buzzing, the lads. You know, it was just a great day. Yeah, I never thought it'd be over 10 or 12 years that we'd be doing another one. I never thought that day. But hey ho, you know, top four this year. Come on.
Okay, sorry. But you make a very good point there, actually. I suppose only maybe in the Premier League show and glitz and, you know, presentations on the pitch and all that kind of stuff would it happen. But I suppose it makes sense that if you are playing away from home and there's a chance of you winning the league away from home, you should bring your own announcer, because I would imagine asking the home announcer kind of, could you just say congratulations to us for winning the league?
Pick this lot up?
Yeah.
Especially if it's somewhere, you know, like if it's a bitter rival or something like that as well. You're never gonna.
Yeah. Well, I have to say as well, and it's about Tony tonight, but just to share a memory, because any of the stadium announcers listen to this, they'll appreciate it. I also had, in inverted commas, the pleasure, and I think we might have talked about this, I had the pleasure of being at Sunderland when City won it. The worst stadium announcer day of my life.
Yes.
And, you know, John O'Shea, Wes Brown, they went to Sunderland, but I've always got that vision that when City scored, the Sunderland fans did the Poznan. And it's a sight I'll never forget and that haunts me. It's like the Martin Tyler moment. Aguero! You know, that.
Yeah. I wonder who was announcer at Sunderland that day. Was it? I wonder if it was John Foster, because he was at Sunderland before he went to Borough. I wonder if he...
Yeah, do you know what?
We should just tap him up and say, do you remember on that day specifically reading out that full-time score at the end of the game like we do as announcers and letting that sink in?
Yeah. Well, I mean, because we finished before then. our game had finished and I'd gone down pitch side because they had another trophy.
Yeah, you had to wait.
You had to wait. Yeah, there was about 2 rooms off the players' tunnel and all that where they had another Premier League trophy with the ribbons on it. So the worst day, and then to see the Sunderland fans doing the Poznan, I'll never forget it. Never forget it. But anyway, it's about Tony Parr.
Well, it does. You know, we obviously always ask our announcers about their favourite moments on the mic. Were there any on the flip side, Tony, where moments that weren't your favourite that you had to be on the mic for?
Well, I mean, we've had a couple of relegations. They weren't good. I did have one. Well, in fact, the Premier League season when we were fighting relegation towards the end of the season, and we played. It was when we played Wigan, and I had my best describe it as Delia Smith moment.
Did you?
Yeah. But I didn't. You know, I didn't do it in the calm of half time. I did it during the game.
Oh,
did
you?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Have we got a recording?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Have we got a recording, Rich?
Do you know it's funny? It's funny you say if we got a recording because that game was actually live on TV because I had because we had the cameras around. And I didn't have to. I was involved in the Supporters Association at the time as well, and I'd agreed to meet with because Wigan were in the bottom, floating around the bottom with us at the same time, and it was only it was half a dozen games out from the end of the season, maybe less than that, and Sky had asked could they get anybody from Blackpool and somebody from Wigan who'd meet on camera, and we met on the promenade and did a bit of a thing, And obviously, I do my usual, of course we're going to win today and all this sort of stuff. Always overconfident. And they said to us when we'd done the piece before the game, they said, "Will you agree to come back after the game, whatever the result?" Yeah, not a problem at all. Well, the game went wrong, and I'm coming out of the stage. I've also had my moment in the second half because the crowd. I just want, where's that 12th man when you need him? And I just didn't feel they were. I just didn't feel they were up to it on the day. It was a big game, and I can't remember. I can't remember to this day. I can't remember what I said, but I did. I came out with something during the game.
So just
down the team.
At a moment in the game, it's normally spurred on by missing another chance or giving the ball away or something like that. We all get that feeling where you go, "Come on, for goodness sake!" But you decided to flip the mic on and just start trying to do a rallying call in the middle of the game.
It wasn't quite as where are you? It wasn't exactly, but it was.
Was it kind of aimed like a message at the fans, or was it just you as a fan going, "Come on, you're useless"?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and then so obviously I had that. I've done that during the game, and then lost, and then I've got to go out and meet up with the Wigan fan again on camera on Sky TV. So I did. If you put yourself up to be shot at.
I suppose. Fair play following it through. But that stuff, I mean, wow, you do your DIY Delia moment.
Yeah. And then another one I should forget, but it was I had quite a coming together with John Eustace down the tunnel. John Eustace was assistant manager at QPR at the time.
Tunnel spat.
Yeah.
Do tell. Do tell.
So we were playing the League Cup game, poor crowd, so you can hear everything on the pitch. And we're 2-0 up in very short order, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes into the game, we're 2-0 up. And it's becoming very feisty. Their players were, I don't know. Steve McLaren was the manager, John Eustace was the assistant. Their players weren't behaving fantastic on the pitch. They're 2-0 down. And one of their players gets booked very early on. And to be honest, he was lucky. He could have gone. He could have been red. And then a few minutes later, they decided to sub him. So he's subbed after 15 minutes of the game. So as he's come off the pitch, John Eustace has sort of gone to meet him at the, and arm round the shoulder and, probably whispering in his ear, look, we have to get you off or whatever. So then he's got his walk towards the tunnel, and I'm stood there in the tunnel, and I had a witness to this, and he backed me up all the way afterwards that I didn't say anything. But they're coming down the tunnel, and I've got the biggest grin on my face as they're having to come towards me, to come past me. So as he's getting closer, obviously John Eustace can see this, stupid Cheshire cat grin on my face. And he as he's walking towards me, he starts, and I'll keep the language,
appreciate it.
You just do your job. You just do your flipping job. And so he's now, and he's coming right, and as he's coming right past me, he's just do your flipping job. And so that's the third time he and I'm thinking, hang on a minute, that's, so as he's gone past, I've turned then, and I've said, whoa, who are you talking to? And so he's turned round and come back towards me with another mouthful. And I just had to say to him, listen, you flipping whatever, who on earth do you think you're talking to? Yeah. And it's like, and by this stage now, the tunnel steward has got involved. And actually also from the sort of far end of the tunnel leads out into reception. They've heard it, and the security in the reception have kind of opened the door at their end, seen it, and they've come down the tunnel as well. Oh. And anyway, so he's disappeared with his player off into the dressing room and what have you. And I'm thinking, but I'm sorry, first time okay, second time a bit much, third time I'm thinking, whoa, who are you talking to? Yeah. And anyway, he came out, so obviously he's gone to his player and he sorted his player out in the dressing room. So he comes back out and he's got to come, and I know, and I'm thinking he's got to come back past me to get back to the dugout.
God.
And so as he comes back out, I'm thinking, well, look, we shouldn't have let that happen. So as he walks past me, I just said to him, John, I'm, sorry. And I put my hand out, as if to just, shake his hand or whatever. And he just completely blanked me as if to say, whatever. And so I just thought, I said, and I just said to him, I said, listen, I've offered my hand. You didn't take it. That shows what you are. And that was it then. But then there was this, you could tell there was an atmosphere all through the game as far as their bench, their subs have seen it and heard it, and everybody's heard it. And well, of course, we win the game. And at 90 minutes, again, he's got to come back past me. And I tried again with a big smile on my face because we've won the game. I said, John, will you accept my apology, please? And he just, blanked me and went on his way. And he's never been back since. Never been back to Bloomfield. Yeah. I mean, he probably doesn't remember it. As far as he was concerned, it was, it's probably something of nothing.
Do you know what? This is going to be. I'm going to be glued to the FA Cup third round draw now.
Yeah. I'm not sure where he's at now. Where is he now?
He's at Derby now, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's been Albion's nemesis the last few weeks from the start of this season, but less about the better. But but I'll tell you what, that no one else would pick that up when that happens in the FA Cup third round draw. They'll be going through it. John Eustace's Derby, visit Bloomfield Road. Everyone else can pass up. We will know. We will know there's more to that if that happens.
But that was a moment that I kind of
cameras on that one.
I kind of look back on it and think, but at the end of the day, as a club official on a match day, obviously you should maintain a standard of behaviour. Once, twice, third time, right in my face. No, I'm sorry, you've crossed the line.
Fair play.
And as I say, the steward. Back me up. I never said a word that would entice him into that reaction.
Have you not purely for the interest of it, creating more atmosphere, more instances like this, but have you always been in the tunnel?
I wasn't for the first 2 or 3 years, but I have been pretty much for about 15 years at least. Yeah.
Is it the best place to be? Do you think?
I always say it's the best thing about the job as a football fan. Football a Blackpool fan, obviously, and a football fan, I love the fact that I'm stood there and, my role, obviously, it's a minor role on a match day, but it's important, obviously somebody has to do it. But what it gives me is the opportunity to be stood in between the dugouts, and I can see and feel and smell and taste the football, the banter between the benches, and gets heated sometimes between the benches, but just being there as a football fan and being able to see and be part of a very, very small part, but and I kind of interact with it because I tend to be on the side of the tunnel, which is the away dugout side. So I'll be, I interact with the backroom staff or sometimes with the subs and what have you. Had a funny one with Troy Deeney a couple of years ago. He was here with we played Forest Green in the FA Cup a couple of years ago, and Troy was on the bench, and my guy up in the box who controls the screen and does the music. I've got radio comms with him. And at some point, Troy Deeney's got up to go and have a bit of a warm-up and a stretch. Anyway, he's come back and he sat back down on the bench. And I had been chatting to him already. And lovely guy, absolutely fantastic guy, good guy to chat to. And so as he's been running, doing his stretching and his warm-up and what have you, my guy up in the thing, he's in my ear and he's saying, "Was that Troy Deeney on the touchline then?" And I'm literally stood, I'm kind of engaged with Troy. So I said, yeah, it was, yeah. And he said, and in my ear, he says, "Wow, he's put some pounds on, hasn't he?" so as I'm stood talking, I kind of, I didn't burst out laughing, but obviously, and Troy Deeney said, "What's up with you now?" And I just thought, in for a penny, in for a pound. I'd already had a few exchanges with him, so I thought I'm okay for this. Yeah. So I just said to him, I said, somebody in my ear then has just said to me, "Was that Troy Deeney warming up?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Wow, he's put some pounds on that." And Troy, to be fair, he absolutely took it all day long. Yeah, he took it all day long. Good spirits, good banter. But you get some that just you think, you're miserable, whatever.
Yeah.
And you're glad you beat them sometimes.
Exactly.
But yeah,
it's lovely. Do you know that does bring me nicely on to how you're connected with everybody else in the stadium for your pre-match, post-match, and all that kind of stuff. Because this is my first season using the old earpiece and microphone to the gantry. Yeah. Never had that before. I've always had someone else doing it, and I'm doing it now.
Right.
And I am really struggling with that. What am I saying to who?
Yes.
So what do I need to reply to you?
Yeah.
And especially at times, what do I need to say to you, but not in earshot of anyone around me? Because the chances are you're gonna, in that I'd be the one in that instance where I go, "Yeah, you're right. He's definitely a 42 race."
I'm just my communications is only to I'm communicating. There's 4 people on our radio channel. So there's one person that I need to speak to, and then the other 2 are people who do the LED advertising.
Yeah.
Because one's off-site, so he has communications into the stadium. So there's 4 on the channel basically. But my interaction is just with the guy who's doing the music and doing the screen.
Yeah.
But it's funny that because every match, it's obviously, we coordinate for doing the teams, and the guy who's out of the stadium, who's doing it remotely, he wants to know when I'm reading the team, so he can, whatever he puts out, he puts it out at that point. So we've coordinated, to do the team, and invariably I start reading and it's only, I'm reading the opposition, do the opposition first. And it's at that point that I hear the guy who's out of the stadium start coming in, chirping up with stuff, and so I've got him, asking, and I'm trying to concentrate reading the opposition team. It's not so bad if it's your own, because you just look at the screen, see the player, and you follow the screen. But yeah, I can always hear another voice when I'm trying to read the opposition team out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
getting used to
kind of works. Yeah,
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah. Magic. Oh, I've found the YouTube clip of that moment where you did the rallying call in the Wigan game. But unfortunately, I've had to listen to it, and you can't hear a word you're saying.
Yeah. Aren't you lucky?
One time when you really needed that sound system to come true for you. Oh, well, Tony, seriously, I hope that does come to fruition, because seriously, you'll be a different announcer when that gets through. You just
people will actually be able to hear me.
The world will
maybe
be
they
your
won't
oyster.
like me.
Yeah, it'll be your oyster. I can't imagine. But 20 years is a mighty fine achievement in this job. It is, and I'm sure there'll be another 20 at least.
Well, I when people say how long do you want to do it for, my one of the answers I give is that I don't know how long. I'll do it as long as I can. But really, I just hope that at least one game, when they get the new stadium tannoy in, I just hope that I'm still there and it's me who gets to do at least one game where people can hear me.
I'm sure it's coming. It won't be like that. Ultimately, otherwise, from God rest his soul, that'll be Chris's revenge, won't it?
Yes, it would.
It'll be you getting replaced, and then the first game that new person gets, they get the sound system. I'm sure it won't happen. I'm sure it won't. Thank you very much, Tony. It's been cracking to speak to you tonight.
It's been a pleasure.
So thanks to Tony, and thanks to Alan, and thanks to you for listening as well. Remember, anything you notice about stadium announcers that you want us to investigate chuck in the WhatsApp group, put out on Twitter, then get in touch with us. hello@wewelcomeyourteams.com. And on X, seeing as we're talking about it, we are Announcers Pod, if you want to go find us. Oh gosh, we're on Instagram as well, aren't we? Yes, it's We Welcome Your Teams Pod. See you somewhere out there. Until next time, when our next stadium announcer comes to bear all on We Welcome Your Teams. Take care.